And yet, when you look at the demographic makeup of our students, almost 70% are students of color. So is there a traditional disconnect? What impediments might be in the way? Do we really have high expectations for all of our students?
Once we get to high expectations for all, the next issue that we really have to deal with is the adequacy of funding in California. We'll meet those high expectations and high rigorous accountability, but we can't continue to ask people to do more with less.
The reason the achievement gap exists, the reason the teacher quality gap exists, at the end of the day, it might sound simple and a little bit trite, but it's the expectations we have for our kids. Generally speaking, we as an education system don't believe poor kids and kids of color can learn at the same rate as more affluent and white and Asian kids.
If you do not provide the children in the inner city with an equitable education, if you don't provide them with quality teachers, if you don't provide them with textbooks that are state-of-the-art and up-to-date, if you don't provide them with the resources that kids in the suburban areas are getting, you're telling them without saying it verbally that you don't have high expectations for them.
What we are finding out is just from a literacy perspective, that they are not introducing the kind of literacy that they need to have. In other words, boys need to read stuff about boys. And oh, by the way, it can't be just any boy. It has to be a boy or a man who is a positive role model. You have to give them that possibility inside of the book, because they don't see that reality in their neighborhoods because there are no male role models in many of those neighborhoods. Now, boys are the lowest performers in the district. African American boys fall very closely by Latino boys. Bingo, there's your gang population right there. If they aren't doing well, they drop out, they become your gang members.
We know that some schools have enjoyed success in closing the achievement gap. Not eliminating, but closing. So we need to replicate many of those programs. And quite frankly, what might work for a subgroup of African American students in an urban district might not work for that same subgroup of African American students in a more rural district.
In the public school system, particularly in the inner city schools, you have predominantly second and third year teachers, some teachers that are straight out of college, and you have many teachers that are not certified to teach. We lose most of our students at the third grade. They can determine whether a child is going to go and